Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit at 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll find the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on, and also a little bit of history about our organization. Also on that front page, you'll find a link that takes you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So you can check out what we're doing on our nets and the streaming. So with that, I'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a specific frequency of a specific tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain. That's for this net only. 103.5 is the tone for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. I'll pause momentarily in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before the net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Hearing none, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Checked in by video link already is Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else wishing to check into the net? Hearing none. Let's see. Richard was saying that he couldn't get into Echolink from his facility, so we'll see if we can drum him up as a second party and get him from Zoom audio to crossover. I see James and his finger up for that could take care of that issue. Well, let's start off with Bob, K9PQ.
Well, this is a very strange one. Let me switch myself on so we're showing my view. First of all, the still tonight is Galway at sunset. It's got a silhouette of some buildings and a little bit of dramatic color clouds and blue sky. As you can probably hear, I'm kind of hoarse tonight, and I have no reason. I can't even guess at the reason for it. I just noticed it this afternoon out of the blue. I don't feel sick, no sore throat or anything like that, so I have no idea what's going on. But I do not want to overstress it, so I'm going to just do this one and then go. And I had something I wanted to say, and I can't think of it right. Oh yeah. So my friend Chris, KC8MUS, he wanted me to report that he's reconditioning a Drake TR3 with a separate power supply. The power supply, I guess, is good, but he had to go through and replace all the capacitors in the TR3, and he has completed that, and it's checked out. You know what? I didn't think to ask him if he's actually used it yet, but he did all the voltage checks, and I know he got that far. So I thought that was pretty impressive, and it'll be cool to if he can get that thing going. And this is going to be my only transmission for the night. I'm going to stick around for however long this net lasts. There are very few of us, and I don't know if Richard's getting in. So, but I will be here for the duration. I just won't be talking anymore. So I'll send it back to Dave, KIBQ.
PQ, thanks for that. Well, let's pick up Richard down in Arizona, and WU7N will take care of your audio.
All right, well, I've unmuted myself. Good. So after watching you guys last week with birds, with the Northern Lights pictures, I thought I'd show two pictures that my son took. Now, Bert was in Marysville, and my son was, which is further north than Marysville, with a lot less lights. So let's see what we can see. If you could just stand by for a second, I'll turn on share screen, and we'll see if that works. So, there it is. This looks very similar on one picture, but the next picture I like the best. So let's see if I can bring that up now. I know what I'm doing. It's a little bit challenge at times. Let's see here. Shut that one down. Now turn that one on. Get my controls in front of me. And there we go. Yeah, okay. So, and this is another one I saw Bert had, but Alex, my son, he had a much clearer view. You know, he had power lines too, of course. But as you can see, it is like God's eye, or going into the time tunnel or something. Or how about traveling at the speed of light? Now, I like that idea. This is what you would see when you're traveling at the speed of light. So, anyway, I thought it'd be fun to share this. You don't see this around here, what, once in a lifetime? And I didn't even get to see it. I know people in Texas saw it, but I didn't. I went outside. But when my son said, "Oh my God, the Northern Lights are incredible," he texted that to me, and I go, "Take a movie! Take a movie!" Well, he didn't take a movie, he took some pictures, and that's probably just as good an idea. So anyway, so I'll pass it on to net control and give you an update what it's like down here. K7ITX, back to net control.
WU7N, third party.
K7ITX, thanks for that. And thank you, James WU7N, for the relay. And it's time for an ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go to Covington to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, Bob, yeah, you sound a little hoarse. Thank you for checking in with us. We appreciate it. And thanks for the pictures there. I do have a fair amount of snow. To me, it almost looked like a volcano erupting on the 1.2. But after you said something about buildings, yeah, okay, that we're looking through some buildings somehow. So anyway, I've got color. I've got lots of color. Looks kind of pretty there. And let's see, TR3. I'd have to look on a computer machine to figure out what a TR3 is. I'm familiar with the 4 and the 6, but I'd have to look up. I don't remember off the top of my head about the 3. But the Drake equipment was pretty good. So I hope Chris has fun with that. And Dick, cool pictures. Thanks for that. You look good. Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely an interesting year. The Aurora Borealis has really been going crazy. I have been wishing that I could maybe get on HF a little bit and see, just listen to what's going on, but I have been nonstop busy this past week or so. So that didn't really happen. My wife and I went and looked at the Aurora one night in particular, and it was okay, but not quite as good as we expected, or what my wife had hoped for anyway. But it did seem to be better looking on the camera. I've seen the Aurora, I don't know, 100 times at least, but through the windshield of an airplane. So maybe that's why I could never get a picture of the thing. I don't know. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
Thanks for that. Let's go to James, Northeast Bellevue, WU7N.
James, WU7N, Northeast Bellevue. Well, Richard, I'm assuming you hold up notes or something that you could hear, and we, I think, heard you talking okay. So that's, we've got to work around. I could not get into Echolink either. And picture tonight, though, the 1.2 gigahertz picture is really good here in Bellevue, but I do know it's kind of coming and going a little bit. But when it's good, it's really a solid picture. But then, just as I said that, it faded a little bit with a little bit of snow. So kind of seeing, oh, there, we just went to Rainbow ID. Anyway, well, I thought I would toss up a picture of a TR3 that I found on the ever helpful internet. Wow, that, just imagine how many man-hours of engineering work went into designing that, and then even how many man-hours of industrial work went into producing it, to mass produce it. It really is amazing to look at that. Bob, sorry to hear you're feeling hoarse. I guess you could be feeling other animals that would be way worse, but hope you get better soon. Well, don't feel bad. I didn't see it either. I went out Friday night a couple of times, and I think I just had too much light pollution where I was at. The people that I know of that say they saw it, you know, Jessica and even Bert here on our group, and also my sister and brother-in-law, the one thing all three of them had in common is they were pretty far away from the lights. I don't know how far out Bert is, but I think Jessica was out in the dark, and I think up there at the north end, it was darker than down here, so that may have foiled it for me. But it may have been a matter of timing, because I understand the best time to see it was right around midnight. I went out as soon as it was dark, and then I went out about 3 a.m., so that may have not been peak time. Interesting, the other things that people are noticing, I have a friend who said, no, you can still see the aurora in broad daylight. And I said, oh, well, you know, that's interesting. You know, what are you doing? And she said, no, I saw it in you know, broad daylight Sunday morning going to church. I saw it. And I said, really? And she goes, yeah, but I needed my dark glasses to see it. And I'm going, oh? And I said, you know, and then she said, no, I can even see it now. And it was the middle of the day, you know, like on Tuesday or something. And I looked up at the spaceweather.gov, and we're like G0 or something, you know, so I'm going, okay, I'm keeping an open mind here. She did have dark glasses on, and she's got a Jaguar that's fairly new. And so if you put the dark glasses in front of the camera through the windshield of the Jaguar, I wish I could, I don't have it on the right machine, I wish I could show you this. Actually, it looks pretty close. I mean, it's not bad. It's a little circular, you know, but you could say, well, that was my wide-angle lens or something, but I think you could show it to a lot of people and it would look like it. But no, I think it's just regular chromic aberration caused by the polarization. And the windshield is bent, you know, and it's making lots of little prisms, and so it makes, you know, it's the strangest aurora I've ever seen. It's exactly a red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet aurora. You can see it in the different bands. So I don't think auroras are quite that accommodating. I think it kind of just depends on what's up there in the air. Enjoying the weather. I just went out for a drive today just to get out in the sunshine. It's just so nice to have just perfect temperatures for outdoor work. I don't really have immediate outdoor work to be doing, and I have some indoor work to be doing, so I did it indoors, but then I just said, I'm going to take a break, and I went out and drove around in the sunshine and did some people watching at Costco. Had lunch at the sample tray. My rule is when they say, sir, are you going to buy any? You know, that's when I leave the sample tray. But you go back and forth, and you know, you can get at least 1,000 calories that way. That's it for me, James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. Let me turn it back to our net control. Go ahead, Dave.
7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. I've got 68 degrees, mostly clear out. But oh my gosh, I ran some errands today, did a little light yard work, but most of the day was R&R. I've had insomnia the last couple of nights. I don't know what's going on. I seem to have somewhat of something is bugging me. I think it's pollen, but boy, I've just been feeling kind of down from that. But outside of that, that's been pretty good. So anyway, and I'm glad to hear from Richard. I referred to him as the 95-degree man with it being kind of warm down in Arizona. So more power to him to survive that heat while he's down there getting prepped for an operation. So it's very good to hear from him tonight. And for James, it was kind of interesting on the aurora, repo aurora. I thought that was kind of interesting, a reproduction of the aurora through the windshield of the car. So that's pretty good. I did notice the sun was shining. I've got a glass table in my computer area, and it's by a window, and the light comes through and it goes through the glass table, and it's like a prism, and it's like the rainbow is on the floor in the room where the light is being run through the table and works as a prism. But that was nothing like an aurora, but it was interesting to see that was happening with this beautiful sunshine we've had with this weather. So that's pretty much what I've got to add at this point. This is Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go back up to Bob, who is now on the side. So I guess we go to Richard, K7ITX.
Thank you, Dave. Well, yeah, you're right about the 95 man, but I assume that the 120 man, I think that's in my future. I say that because I'm pretty sure I'll be on the list before the end of the month. I've gone through, you know, all
signal at all. I think James froze up there. He's back. Back to net K9PQ.
By for technical difficulties, we'll get back to Richard as soon as we can. So in the meantime, let's go to Jim, N7QO. QO. Let's go to James, WW7ATS. Back on the air.
Pass me this go around. I might not be back for a couple go arounds here.
You heard that, but Jim said he was going to have to pass for a couple of go-arounds. I'll go as long as you guys want. I have an unstable internet connection here, and so I'm trying to just shut things down. I don't really think, for once, it's necessarily all this machine. I think it might also the CenturyLink is letting me down tonight, but I've shut off on the digital side, so all I've got is analog here. So I don't know if I can get Richard on or not. I'll give it my best shot here to try and clean this up.
Thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. And for an ID, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Again, I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, talking about internet problems, the last 3 days have very slow internet at my residence. I don't know what's going on with that. Generally, it loads up pretty fast with the internet, but it's been kind of slow in the mornings. By the afternoon, it seems to get a little bit better, but that's what's happening here on my internet. So with that, I guess we could go back to Richard if we can get a connection. Difficulties on that. Let's see some Jim N7QO is on here.
We're listening on the digital side.
Richard is correct. He's talking and he's transmitting, but he can't hear us, I think, is the problem.
I can hear you now. Now that I'm listening on Zoom. So anyway, but I don't want to listen to myself. So, well, let me just change topics slightly. We had a cat and a dog with us, and it was really interesting to see how the cat just loved everything about everything. I mean, just whether it's in the car, in a strange place, walking outside, and then finally when we were, in a nice house-type setting with a yard, geez, she just, all the birds and the heat. Cats like it hot. They really do. And especially Mika. She likes it when it's, about the heat of the day. She likes to go outside and roll in hot rocks, hot ground. If Debbie would let her, she would roll around in the dirt where the birds have been playing. But Debbie's kind of worried that there's this thing down here called valley fever, and the cats don't get it, just humans and dogs. So, so I don't know, it's just kind of a mess when she gets all that dirt in her left up fur. And then the dog, oh, it was awful. The dog took days, maybe 5 days before she got used to it here, vomiting, sleeping all the time. It was weird, and for myself, I've just been exhausted, I'm not a morning person, but when you're down here doing what I'm supposed to do, you better be a morning person. And, one point was at 6:30, quite a few, at 7:30 and 8. This week has been a blessing, though. It's been more like today was 11, tomorrow's at 1. And so that all has worked out just fine. But the heat, that's the weird thing about it. You don't get enough sun. You're just, I'm so happy to have the sun. But when you're down here south, it's the complete opposite. In fact, you look forward to a stormy, rainy day. In fact, I haven't seen one yet, actually. The closest I've came to is clouds and wind. But it's always hot, and it's usually the blistering sunshine, where, sunscreen is the order of the day. If I don't use sunscreen, I feel miserable. It just, somehow, my whole head and face, they just feel like a giant sunburn. But if I use sunscreen, it's no big deal. So that's my new life. All right, well, it's sure great to be able to talk to you guys, and I'm hoping I won't have router issues the next place I go. Because at the hospital, I could check right into the repeater up where that you guys are on right now. It's no problem getting hooked up. So it's definitely a forwarding issue at the place I'm at right now. I think it's unusual, but we'll soon find out how unusual it is. All right, K7ITX, back to net control.
Okay, WW7, Richard, I can't get into Echo Link tonight either, so we might have more than one issue going. Back to you, Dave.
WU7N, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Apologize for missing that last turn. There's something going on in the street in front of our house here, so I had to go take a look at that. And I think the situation's resolved, but no guarantees. So let's see. I missed part of that. Jim, I missed most all of what you were saying the last go around. Sorry about that. Dave, I caught you were talking insomnia, maybe a result of pollen. I don't know. There's probably some over-the-counter product that would help with the pollen, but I'm usually not experiencing trouble with pollen, so I couldn't give you a recommendation on what to take. But if you can't sleep, maybe if you got an HF radio set up, see if you can listen to someone. Might be able to hear someone from some other countries or so. Might be interesting to do. And for that matter, on some of the local repeaters, there might be some other people who can't sleep. If you're just looking for someone to talk to. But hope you feel better. That pollen, that bothers a whole lot of people. Dick, I heard you saying something about Mika there. Yeah, cats like the warmth. I don't know about Pippa. When I was in Phoenix, I didn't really have much experience with pets there. Pretty much none of my friends or guys that I worked with had pets either, because we were all kind of traveling a whole lot. So pets were not a normal thing. But valley fever, yeah. I've been told that if you stay there long enough, if you were fine when you got there, you were going to get valley fever eventually. So I don't know. And I don't know about dogs getting it. Let's see. Well, I would guess you're exhausted in part. The doctors are putting you through your paces, man. They are stressing your body out. That's my guess. You look good, but if you feel tired, well, if you feel tired, you need to rest. That's what I think. And when I first began flying international, someone said the best thing to do, rest when you're tired, eat when you're hungry. What else? I extrapolated a couple of other things and tried to tell that to my wife, but that didn't go over very well. But anyway, that's what I did. That's what I did when I was on the road. So rest when you feel the need. And I don't know about the sun. I always feel pretty slimy when I apply sun lotion, unless I'm going to stay out in it. But I was taking, for a number of years, I was taking a medicine where I wasn't supposed to be out in the sun, so I tried to shelter myself from the sun as much as possible. Good luck with the sun. Maybe Dave could give you some more sound advice than I could on avoiding the sun there. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
Jim. And let's go to James, WW7N.
WW7N here, Northeast Bellevue, and yeah, I too have been I had pretty intense insomnia this morning. About 3 a.m. I was just wide awake, couldn't get back to sleep, and then about 6 o'clock I turned all the phones off and said, okay, I'm going to get at least a couple of hours here to try and maintain the circadian rhythm, because when that happens to me, if I take a nap in the afternoon, then it just makes it worse the next night. Pretty soon I'm on Beijing time. So I have been dealing with that too. Maybe it's just the time of the year or something. But yeah, hang in there with that. If you come up with any grand solutions, let me know. Yeah, Dick, I actually recall reading it was put out by somebody, some author who worked for the National Laboratories, a book on how to beat jet lag, and there was a summary sheet they were giving us, and I think I tried that on one of my trips, and it didn't work completely, but if you really stuck with it, it did pretty well. The one problem actually a lot of people run into is trying to keep dark glasses on as you are going through airports. They want you to take your dark glasses off so that they can ID you, and so the facial ID software and all that stuff can work. And so when you take that off, then you would get exposed to all these bright lights in the airport, and that would kind of mess up the system a little bit. But there were other things there, like when to eat what kind of foods, and when to try and stay awake, and when to try and sleep, and things like that. And I think it did, it shortened it a little bit. So anyway, that book still is out there. I'm sure it must be online somewhere by now. It's 8:35. 103.5. And Dave, I'll go as long as everybody else wants to go, but with a few smaller number of people, if you want to if everybody wants to wrap it up a little early, that's okay with me too. Either way, let's see, the excitement coming soon in my life, I will be having strange men tromp through my house. I decided I just didn't have enough time to do my own deck. I think it would be kind of fun to do it, but I just don't have enough time. The painters are not under my control and will soon be here. So I talked to a contractor, and he seems very good, so we'll see what his bid is, and I might get some others. But there was one scary beam in particular that's about a story and a half up, and I certainly couldn't do that by myself. I'd have to hire someone else to at least help me. And I'm sure I could have it done by December if, I was doing it myself. Unfortunately, that'll be about, 8 months too late. Anyway, that's all the excitement around here. I guess this is first world problems, when you are looking for the good contractor to fix your deck. We've got it pretty good here. I was just thinking about that today with the beautiful weather. 1 out of 3 cars runs completely okay, and I think I figured out how to fix at least one of the other 2, and I'm not sure about the third. That might be a bigger project. But anyway, something to do with the waning days of summer, perhaps. So this is James, WW7ATS, Northeast Bellevue, with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Let's turn it back to Dave, KP7ZYM, our net control.
WW7N, thanks for that. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and for an ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Well, my gosh, I have been taking antihistamines, and the lack of sleep at night and then the effect of the antihistamines, I'm almost in a stage of grog, I might say. So I probably will lay down after the net this evening. But that was kind of interesting. Tips for Richard in the hot weather down there when I was there in the summertime. Get up about 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, go for a nice walk in the neighborhood, go out and get something for lunch, and by 8:30 or 9 o'clock it's almost 100 degrees out again. Then retreat back to the air conditioning, so you got your exercise out first time. And for animals, Mika rolling in the grass where the birds had been. I had a Cocker Spaniel. Take him to the park where we had Canadian geese, and their droppings were on the ground. The dog just loved to roll his back into those droppings. It was like miserable going home with that. Took a towel, tried to wipe some of it off, but the aroma, it was something else. But I don't understand. Dogs and animals seem to like that, rolling in the dirt and rolling in everything. So that's pretty much it. Well, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. So at this point, let's see, we'll take a vote by fingers. Anybody want to keep going, or should we wrap it? We'll terminate the net early this evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7ATS repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions during this net. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, signing off the net at 8:40. Good evening all.